Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. So we have the Prime Minister Andrew Holness delivering another Hope unit. I haven't posted about these homes in a few months. So Mr. Clive Coleman, he received a 3-bedroom home, and this is from, of course, the whole program. And this has been going on now for a couple years, right? And a lot of people have benefited from the program. And I'm so happy for each and every one of them, because the issue of home ownership has always been a problem for Jamaicans, because we know the history behind it. The people at the lower end of the scale, they were never able to afford a home or land, things like that. And especially for Kingstonians, they migrated in the thousands, in the 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. That those are the heavy years of migration to Kingston, and they didn't have anything to start on. Now examining their decisions at that time, was it a good decision to leave all the land in the country and come to Kingston, where you're shacked up in a 5x5 space, literally, right? And a lot of them end up paying absent landlords who never maintain properties, and they had a difficult time getting places to rent also. Be working and earning a certain amount of income, and of course your rent can never be late, otherwise you run the risk of being put out on the street, right? So home ownership has always been a challenge, especially in the ghettos, or what we call the garrison communities, and those are all over Kingston, in Montego Bay as well. So a lot of the major cities, you will find these ghetto areas. But notice that it's not just ghetto areas that have an issue with home ownership. You have places in rural areas that there's a challenge there as well. People are living in substandard conditions, right? Places that you wouldn't even put an animal, people are living in there. And when we talk about it, it's not like Jamaica is the worst in the Caribbean, because I've traveled to about 3 places in the Caribbean, and I have to say that there are challenges in other Caribbean countries as well, and they have worse challenges than Jamaica. I've seen a certain Caribbean island where I'm driving past homes, and these homes don't have floor. They have no flooring in them. I would say that's not, that's almost non-existent in Jamaica. So you have a little pockets here and there all over the place in the rural areas with people living in substandard conditions. There are a lot of factors that feed into that, because 1, it's education, 2, job opportunities, and of course, teenage pregnancy, people having kids that they can't care for. So when they reach a certain age, they want to branch out on their own. They get whatever material they can find, and they make these little, right? Not really homes. I'm just using that term loosely, right? And then you find a young girl in that home with 3-4 kids in that little shack. Of course, she has these kids, and then the parents are saying, there's no space here for your kids. And then what do? They get zinc board, whatever they can find, and they're putting the kids now at risk, because this is an unsafe space. So there's so much that we can talk about with home ownership, and I'm so happy for Mr. Clive Coleman to get his own home. Feels great when you have your own home. You're not answering to anyone, move this or move that, or you can't put this there, you can't put that there. As the Prime Minister mentioned, something about breaking the generational cycle of poverty. So he's able to hand this down to his kids and also grandkids and so forth. So hopefully, of course, we want a peaceful transition. And I just want to say, generally, not just for Mr. Coleman and his family, but just generally speaking, when it comes to property and land, there's always, a burning issue in Jamaica where people will go to extreme levels of hurting others or unaliving others to gain land and property. Number one, they don't feel that they can achieve it on their own. And number two, it's a form of desperation because they feel like they cannot achieve certain things on their own because of their own limitations that they've themselves. Number one, they think, okay, yes, they have financial constraints. They reach a certain age or whatever, or they can't earn a certain amount to buy property or land, and their parents may have left the land or property or home for them, or for like seven, six kids, and somewhere along the line, things start to go awry. They start to fuss over the property, fuss over the land, and then it causes a lot of issues, right? So to make sure that they iron out everything if you are leaving property for your children, right? So make sure that there are no issues. And what I would like to say as well is that people should be able to, you know, build on top of what your parents got. It has changed your family dynamics, right? So you're going to, this has changed your family's position financially. So you're able to now get more resources to build on this, make it bigger, or make another home. Everyone pitching in to help each other to attain a home, right? Or to build on this to make it bigger for everybody to live comfortably. Sometimes, no matter how big you make the home, if you have a certain number of people in the home, there's always going to be discrepancies. So the best thing is to probably help each other to start their own little home, have less issues in the home. So that's all I have to say right now. Home ownership is such a wonderful thing because you feel a sense of pride, a sense of ownership, like you take care of the home. And hopefully, Mr. Coleman and his family, his family that are going to be occupying the home will be able to help him to take care of the home because you have to pay your bills. You have to make sure that the property is nicely maintained, right? And it doesn't start falling apart after a while. So that is so important. So, yes, it is a sense of pride, and you want to make sure that you maintain it so that it can be passed on to your kids and your grandkids. So, it is a gift in a way from the Jamaican people, the people who pay taxes, right? And it is a gift to the people at the lower end of the scale. And there are many people at the lower end of the scale. So I guess when you apply, I always tell you go online and apply Hope Homes. There's an application there that you fill out. Make sure you have your identification and, of course, the title to the property or a letter from the person who owned the property that you're able to build on that property, right? It has to be clear. So get all your documents together, birth certificates, the land title, a letter from the owner saying you're okay to build, and your TRN and your if you have passport to make sure that there's nothing that you don't have. Everything must be in order. Congrats to Mr. Clive Coleman for getting this 3-bedroom home. So these homes are approximately about $10-15 million. I think the 1 bedroom was about 6 million. And so you can imagine how much the 3-bedroom is. So I think it's about 10 million in terms of the cost that the government has to pay to get this. And this is a huge step, huge, right? Because I remember seeing the 1-bedroom between 5 to 6 million. So I'm thinking just approximate, I'm thinking around 9-10 million for the 3-bedroom, right? Because the government did say that it would have cost way more, but they got a discount because they're doing so many of them. They were able to bring the cost down. But in reality, it's not really even the true figure if you were to do it on your own. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care of yourself and others. Bye for now. See you on the next video.